What's up, everybody? I'm back with another video. I know it's been a while. I was trying to wait from my previous video. I was trying to wait until I got the results of my medical and physical or my medical and fitness test, so I could just talk from that perspective. I still haven't received them, so I figured I would just go ahead and do a video so everybody was clued in on what my journey is, where I'm at currently, and where do we go from here. So I took my medical exam and my fitness test on the same day. It was about 10 to 11 days ago. I mean, if you count weekends, it was about 13 or 14 days ago. So I was hoping that I would have had some type of results by now, but I didn't. If you make it to the medical portion, what'll happen is you'll get an email from EMS or EAS. I forget what the acronym is. In any case, it's a third-party vendor that handles the medical scheduling. For me, this scheduling, they actually had me go through Concentra, which from what I can tell does a lot of the Department of Homeland Security medical stuff. So I had to utilize the code that they gave me, go to the site, and there's some release forms that you got to fill out. If you wear prescription lenses, you got to give them your prescription. There's a questionnaire that you got to fill out. You got to answer, to the best of your ability. And then you schedule availability. Now, because I had the fitness test as well, I had to schedule for both. So for the fitness test, for the medical test, and in the updates video that I did, I really go into detail about the merry-go-round that I was on. But the long story short is, pretty much right after I published that video, I emailed everybody, any email I can find. And the one email that got me traction instantly was, when you go into the medical portal, at the top, if I'm not mistaken, it'll say for scheduling issues or something along the lines. If you run into any scheduling issues, send an email to this address. And it was like a scheduling department for the vendor that I was going through. Once I did that, not even 2 hours later, I had both of my appointments scheduled. So what I would say to you is an update from my previous video. The hiring center, make sure you contact them. The medical and fitness department of the hiring center, make sure you contact them. And also the vendor that is facilitating the scheduling for the clinic that you'll go to, make sure you email them as well. The more people you email, the more traffic there is, the better you are off when it comes to down the line if you run into any other issues. Now, the silver lining to all this was I actually wasn't late on anything, and I wasn't at risk of my application being pulled, because when I contacted them, they said, while we don't control your scheduling, this was I believe it was just like a case manager or representative or something. They said, what we can assure you though is you are not at risk of your application being pulled. Just be patient. They should be reaching out to you soon. And then, like, kind of simultaneously to that, I got scheduled. So, excuse me, I'm wheezing a little bit. So when you go into the portal though, back to my main point, you'll have availability. You select your availability, and what I would suggest is you put multiple times. Don't just put, oh, I'm available on the 24th from this time to this time. Like, put specific time slots so they know. And you got to be realistic. Like, think about what your responsibilities might be. If you got to pick up your kids, if you have another appointment, you want to account for those things so they know to try not to schedule you around that time. In all honesty, whatever they have available is what they're going to put you down for. Once I filled out all that information and it was sent through, my appointment was locked in. I just had to wait for the appointment, right? Go to the appointment. The medical, I mean, the way I look at it is it's a standard physical, right? They're going to make sure that you have full range of motion, that you got good vision, that you got good hearing. And then the doctor is going to, check your respiratory system, have you do some rotations and stuff, and just ask you how you feel. Now, if you have a medical history, make sure you disclose that and provide that information. But I will say, to each his own. Whatever you decide to do is what you decide to do. That part was relatively smooth. Now for the fitness test, same process in terms of scheduling it. Now the fitness test consisted of 3 events: push-ups, sit-ups, and a 5-minute 14-inch step test. The push-ups, I had to just knock out, I believe it was 20 push-ups. They give you like a 4-inch foam block, so your chest actually doesn't touch the ground. But what I would say to you is get in the habit of practicing your push-ups going all the way down. For my military folks out there, remember, break the plane. Keep your back straight, all one movement. You know, all the fundamentals that you learned in the military. If you're one in the military, you just break the plane basically means that when you bend your arm, you want it to be like a 90 degree all the way across. So, you know, if you're pushing up down or you're pushing down, your chest goes to the ground and you're breaking that plane because your arms would look like this. All right. So you're actually going lower than that. But again, you're going to have that 4-inch foam block. So you're not even going to break the plane. But if you get in the habit of practicing working out like that, then you should have no problem knocking it out. The key is they will not give you extra points or anything for doing extra. My facilitator, once I did the prescribed amount, I was able to get up. Same thing for the sit-ups. The sit-ups, you want to keep your hands to the sides of your head and you go all the way up and make sure your elbows touch your knees. You don't want to pull yourself up, you know, grabbing the backs of your thighs, lifting your butt up. You don't want to do any of those things because those won't count. And I believe it's not an immediate disqualifier, but they will tell you that they don't count. And again, you have a minute to do 25. Sit-ups, if you're not at a steady pace, you can use that whole minute without even realizing it. So I would say, you know, just get in the habit of doing crunches, sit-ups whenever you work out. Where the real challenge is that 14-inch step test. Now, there is a link on the internet, which I will leave in the description of this video, for a step test. It has you, you know, march in cadence, left, right, up, down, up, down. Like that's kind of like the cadence, and it goes for 5 minutes. Initially, I was training on a 14-inch step, and then I started training on a 16-inch chair. I couldn't keep the pace at the 16-inch chair. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I did like 2.5 minutes, and it smoked me. But I did a lot of air squats. I did a lot of lunges. You know, anything you can do to strengthen up your legs is going to be crucial. But there's really nothing that can duplicate the step test other than doing the step test. Now you could do what is it? The not the elliptical, but the stair climber. You could do the stair climber or the one machine where you like that thing is the mountain climber. Those probably would be close to building up the endurance. But just get into the cadence and just go. And all you got to tell yourself is, I do not rest until this test is done. You know, you want to average, it's 120 steps per minute. So that cadence is all you got to listen to. Don't worry about time. Whenever you're training, don't look at time. Just focus on the exercise until you're done. And that YouTube video, again, the link will be in the description. That's what I used, and I knocked it out. I knocked it out quick, no problem. My facilitator was like, "You did a great job. You know, best of luck to you." And they send off the information. Now there could be some things that might give you a disqualifier, like such as I'm anticipating potentially getting a disqualifier because I didn't have an updated prescription for my glasses. I wore my glasses, but I didn't have my prescription. They didn't ask when they filled out my paperwork. I can't really make heads or tails of if they, you know, what they wrote down, but I may have to provide that. To me, that's not a big deal as long as I have the prescription to provide it. Outside of that, my medical stuff, I just answer to the best of my ability, and hopefully it comes back favorable to me. The last time I did this, about 3 years ago, I didn't get an official response for about 14 days. And that's kind of how I counted it this time. I went off of 14 business days. Assuming I get the go and they're saying I'm good to go, I know my background check is in the process. So the only other two things that I'll have will be my polygraph and will be my drug test. So I feel confident in those, but you know, one step at a time. For all of y'all that have been showing love to the channel, that have been asking questions, that have been on your journey as well, I want to say thank you. I'm right there still with y'all. You know, I'm gritting down, trying to get to that final offer to get into the academy. Hopefully I see some of y'all that supported. And if you know somebody that's thinking about it, direct them to this, you know, to the channel. For me, this is just a way to help people that may be considering this. You know, I try to respond to any comments that there may be, any questions. I try to provide any resource that I can find, and I will continue to do that. Lastly, I just want to make a note that my channel was never geared towards specifically being, you know, focused on just Border Patrol stuff. So if you start seeing other videos from time to time, you're more than welcome to watch them, but don't feel like all of a sudden I'm gonna stop my journey. No, this journey doesn't stop. The only thing that'll make me stop is this. Something in my personal life that's more lucrative, that gives me more drive. Maybe I pursue that, or you know, maybe I get a no-go on my polygraph, or there's something else that requires me to wait. But if I get initially disqualified on this run, guess what? I'm reapplying on the next announcement. But again, if the polygraph comes back unfavorable, then obviously I gotta wait 2 years. But I'll still keep y'all in the loop. But hopefully we make it to that final offer, get to the academy, and then, you know, we'll go from there. But if you like what I'm producing, I got a whole bunch of other stuff I've been planning to put on the channel. Maybe some of it you're interested in, maybe not. In any case, I hope these videos are informative. I hope you appreciate them. And until the next video, y'all, peace.